Hey, welcome to the Follow Through. I'm Pastor Fred. We're here listening to God. We're also living for Him. Hit that subscribe button and share this with somebody. We're going to be in Ephesians 6, verse 4. We're talking about kind of the intentional nature of disciple making. We want to make sure that we have time set up and that we maybe kind of develop some sort of a schedule, some sort of a rhythm would be really cool. Think of it that way. Because the things that you do in your life where you kind of have a rhythm and there's sort of a schedule, those get done. You show up for that. Why? Because you know it's going to happen. Now, if you don't do any of that, well, then it may or may not happen. So that's what we're looking at. So today I'm going to talk to parents today especially, but again, I think it applies to all of us, whether you have kids or not. Don't just go on to the next video, but let's hear this because there's a lot of talk about how we discipline kids, right? How should you treat that? How should you deal with when a child's being disrespectful or they're not doing their work or whatever it is? Like, how should you parent in that way? A lot of books, a lot of stuff, and I think the best of those talk about what Paul talks about here in Ephesians 6, and that is how we treat our kids. So we often think that, like, I'm the ruler and man, I'm just there and it doesn't matter how they feel, I don't really care, I'm just going to go out there, and I just think that's wrong. Right? We should always be parenting and again, for those of you who don't have kids, like just doing life with or talking with or instructing, guiding somebody in your life. We always have to look at how we're treating them, how we love and care for them. So, because if we're always picking a fight, if we're always getting into it with them and it's always contentious and sort of combative, then that's not good. So look at Ephesians 6, because this often happens, and maybe you felt this as a child when you were a kid, or right now as you're maybe a young person. He says, "Fathers, don't provoke your children to anger." Right now, we could apply it to anybody. You shouldn't be picking fights. Your goal should not be to make sure that they know that your point, and it doesn't matter about their feelings or who they are at all. Okay, there's a point here, and here's what I think Paul's trying to say. There's a line, and if you provoke them to anger, maybe you missed the point. Maybe you've crossed the line. Instead, he says that we should bring them up in the discipline and in the instruction of the Lord. So it's sort of like this refocusing, saying, okay, remember, make sure you know what the goal is. Right? The goal is not that you like lead with an iron fist and just, and it's, making sure everybody does things right. And again, we need to have discipline. He doesn't sidestep at all. He's going, look, there should be a discipline and instruction, but whose is it? It's the Lord's discipline, instruction. See, for me as a dad, what I need to remember is that I'm under His discipline and I should be receiving His instruction all the time. And that's going to change the way I look at it, the way I look at how I treat my kids. And passages like this are a great reminder to me of where I was and what I was like when I was their age. We often quickly forget that. We forget the struggle, and again, we forget what it's like, how difficult it was. Now we should never use that as an excuse, right? To say, oh, it's just a crazy world out there. Well, yeah, it is. But I think all the more reason to trust Jesus, all the more reason to lean into Him and what He's doing and who He is, how He's there to help us and make a difference in our lives. Because we want them to be instructed by Him. But again, I can't do what I'm not doing already. I can't give what I don't have in my own life. So if I'm not regularly, sort of submitting myself and obeying God and saying, God, you're right, I'm wrong, I need you, and if I don't have that posture, and if I really don't have that belief, what I'm going to be showing is maybe anger, maybe provoking, just to pick the fight, just so that I could come out on top, and that's not the game to play at all. So let's put that aside and let's say, okay, Lord, how do you want me to discipline both myself and my kids? How are you instructing me, and how can I instruct? Just letting that instruction that comes from God flow into the lives of not only my kids, but my friends and my family and everyone else that because I want them to know Him. I want them to know what life is like under His reign, with Him as the Lord of their lives. Because there's no greater place, right? There's no greater freedom than with Him. So I hope that helps. Hope that comforts and gives you some help in what you got going on. All right. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.